I'm gonna miss this view for a while. The sun is basically setting on my summer at this point. I have a couple days left, and I'm just counting the days down before I head off to college. So this year's been pretty eventful for me. I had a lot of different things going on, a lot of unexpected changes, and all I ever do on my YouTube channel anymore is make update videos. So I figured I'd make one last one for a while, at least for a couple months, because I'll be a few hours away, and unless I can find something interesting to make a video on, this may be the last video you see for quite a while, at least until I come home around like Thanksgiving. But if I see something interesting, or something interesting happens, I'll definitely make a video and keep you guys updated while I'm away at school. Like I said, this year's been kind of eventful. Had a lot of different things happen, some good, some bad, some ugly. And I also just finished up my internship in Philadelphia, which was a few weeks long. I just finished that up. So in reality, I've only had about a week or two of summer vacation. And meanwhile, I've been doing my best to keep the lawn care business going and, keep up with the pace, because I do have about 10 lawns that I mow now. That's how much it's grown. And it doesn't seem like a lot to some of you, but when you don't have commercial grade equipment and all you have is a truck, it's a lot to do. It really is, because more than, I'd say, about 3/4 of my neighbors don't even own a mower. So, it's a big responsibility. So, my grandfather volunteered to take over the lawn care business for me while I'm away, and it's not going to be, it's not too much of a workload, because, when you think about it, April and May, or just April even. So April, September, and October are the only months that I'm not going to be around to mow lawns. So my grandfather won't have too much work to do. But bless his heart, he's getting older. He's slowing down, but he misses the days of working on the farm, being out on the tractor for hours on end. So this is the closest he can get anymore. So bless his heart, he's gonna do what he can, try and keep it up for me and keep my business going. And assuming I don't get a job when I'm up at school 4 hours away, hopefully I'll be able to continue the lawn care business when I come home each summer. So, but I'm keeping it going slowly, and I've worked out a plan. So we've got a few extra people to help out just in case my grandfather needs it. But so that's the deal with the lawn care business right now. And all I ever do is make update videos of my stuff on my channel. So here's another one, I guess. Like I said, it's been a very eventful year, and to be honest, I've had more bad luck than good luck, as you can see. I hate to leave this thing just sitting here like an anchor for now in the garage, but here's the John Deere 210. I could give you the whole backstory and all the videos and pictures and stuff, but to be honest, at this point, I really don't even feel like it. Long story short, me and my buddy Jimmy, we had our tractors up at the local 4-H fair, and I had it all set up to pull. I had all my weights on, and I even borrowed a wheelie bar from the guy who runs the whole show. And I improved my setup too. I actually added a hitch plate from a 300 series, an older 300 series. I bolted that on with grade 8 bolts, and I added another hitch here, and then I was going to add a shackle between these two, because that's what you have to hook to. So I spent a little money. I got this tractor all ready to pull, and I was waiting in line at the pull. I had about 3 tractors before me, and I was slowly inching forward, and all of a sudden it jumped out of gear and got stuck in neutral. So I messed with the shifter a little bit, and I got it in third, but it wouldn't come out of third. And of course it happened right while I was in line on the track, waiting to hook up. So I pulled out on the track, and I had no reverse. So the flagman actually helped me push the tractor backwards. We basically forced it backwards and hooked it up. I got halfway down the track, and it popped out of gear again. Just my luck. So it turns out the detent ball and spring in the transmission, or the springs actually, there's more than one. The detent balls and springs in the transmission in the shifter linkage finally let go after 34 years. And when that basically, I mean, that's actually typical wear for those Peerless transmissions, but when that happens, you basically, the transmission tries to force itself to shift into 2 gears at once, which is not good. It can blow the transmission apart. So the next day I had to drive it home in 2nd gear from the fairgrounds, which was a very long and disappointing ride home. But yeah, and it's been sitting here ever since. It hasn't been run since then for about 3 weeks now. So I hate to leave it sit like that, but on the bright side of things, the guy who runs the whole show happens to be one of the head mechanics at our John Deere dealer, and he owns about, I'd say maybe 30 or 40 or even more of these garden tractors. He has them all sitting in his yard. He knows mostly the gear drives, the round fenders, and like the 140s, 300s, and 200 series. He has a couple newer ones, but he mainly focuses on the old one. I mean, he's fixed hundreds and hundreds of these things, and he told me if you, I mean, I had the transmission all apart. I had like a workbench set up here with the transmission on it, and I had the axles off of it, the hubs and everything. I was getting ready to split the case, and then the guy told me, if you split that case and you don't know what you're looking at, you're going to have a hard time. And this guy, like I said, is the head mechanic at our John Deere dealer, so he offered to, because he said he's had like 30 or 40 of them apart before, so he knows what to do. He said at this point it's become second nature to him when it comes to fixing them, because those detent springs go so easily. It's like it's one of the only issues those transmissions have after 30 years is the springs rust and they break and they let loose, so they can't keep the shifter held in place. So it's actually a pretty common problem. I'm just kind of pissed off that it happened right when it did, because I was just about to hook to the sled. But I'm glad we're actually getting this out of the way, because I've never touched the transmission before, and God knows what could have gone wrong with it in the future. So, and every once in a while it did jump out of 3rd gear, so I figured a detent spring was going out, but I wasn't expecting it to be this bad. So I took it out. I started tearing it apart, but I put everything in a bin and I took it down to his house, and he told me he would rebuild the whole transmission, replace any bad gears, seals, gaskets, everything. He would charge me for the parts. He'd do the labor for free, and that was a deal I really couldn't refuse, because I had no idea. I mean, I probably could have figured out how to do all that stuff with this transmission, but I figured, you know, since I want to use this tractor for a competition and for a backup, like a workhorse, the better thing to do would be have it done professionally by someone who knows what he's talking about. So I brought the transmission down to him in a box with the axles and the hubs and everything off of it. And when he gets time, once the pulling season slows down and everything, while I'm away at school, he's going to rebuild the transmission for me. Like I said, fix any, he replaced the detent balls and springs, fix the shifter forks, replace any bad seals and gaskets, which is typical stuff, you know, like axle seals and stuff like that typically goes bad. And, you know, make any other repairs, which is great because it saves me a lot of trouble, and he's only charging me for the parts. So as long as none of the major gears are broke inside of it or worn badly, it's a pretty good deal for the labor. Well, yeah, for the labor. I mean, he's not charging me anything for the labor. So, like I said, as long as nothing major is broke or worn out inside the transmission, it shouldn't cost me too much. So that's the status of that right now. Not much else to say. Here's some extra tools I got off of a family friend of ours that I've been using. I'm been cleaning some stuff up. Here's a hydraulic cylinder off the old 316 frame. Oh, speaking of which, I don't think you guys have seen yet. If you can't tell, the old 316 frame is gone. The original 316, and that was a nice tractor just a few months ago. It kind of pained me to do it, but I took the frame to the scrapyard. I got $10 for it, because I figured who the heck's going to want a frame. I basically had it all stripped down. The only things left were the axle, the steering, and the hydraulics, which were all in good shape, but I just didn't feel like parting them out because it's more junk that I have to have sitting around. So I took that to the scrapyard, and then I had the engine sitting up here with a bag over it, and I had all kinds of miscellaneous parts like the fenders and I had the transaxle out of the other 316, the one that leaked. I had that all. I had that out. I took the wheels off of it. I had a bunch of other miscellaneous parts too, like the tins from the Onan motor were sitting here on the floor and everything, and just other like random parts and stuff. I sold them to a friend of ours up in North Jersey, who he told me he had like 16 or so of these garden tractors. I've seen him on my tractor forum and on Facebook and all the forums and stuff like that. Real nice guy, Joe. So he wanted to buy these parts off of me, so we could have them for his tractors, like as a stock. So he has a stockpile basically. So 200 something bucks, I let everything go, just to clean out the garage and free up some space. So I gave him a pretty good deal, and I know all that stuff is going to go to good use. I know it's in good hands. And I told Joe, I said, make sure you make a YouTube video or make a forum thread on fixing up the Onan engine, because that engine ran really good. It was, once I got the flyball spacer and all the seals and everything changed, it ran really good, and it has a lot of potential. And it would definitely run again, no doubt about that. So I told him to keep us updated, so we'll see what he does with it. I'd like to see it get put to work again. So it's, it was sad to see because that was such a nice machine, but I guess, one must die for others to live. And unfortunately, the nice 316 had to be sacrificed for the other one. But on the bright side, the other 316, I basically did save it because God knows what would have happened to that thing. It had lived a really rough life, but I was able to save it. I've been trying to sell it for the past month. Unfortunately, it still hasn't sold. I've had a couple bites and a couple people who said they're going to get back to me, but I think they're just tire kickers. I know you really can't see much in here, but I've had it at 2 county fairs so far with a for sale sign on it. When I started off asking $1,000 for it, dropped down to $800. I really can't let it go for less than $700 because it's honestly a good machine. I mean, it still has a couple things wrong with it, yes, but get those kinks out of it and it'll make a nice, reliable machine. I got it cleaned up. It actually did clean up pretty nice. Everything seems to be working good, except I'm still having, aside from the carburetor issue where the carburetor needs to be cleaned, I'm still having issues with the safety or fuse or something. Every once in a while, it does this randomly. I don't know why, but every once in a while it'll stall if you take it out of neutral, and it'll stall when you engage the PTO. It's probably, I checked the fuses again and the circuit breaker. All that stuff is brand new. I didn't have any more blown fuses, so I don't think it's like a bad stator or regulator or anything like that. So I think it might just be a safety switch issue, which isn't really a big deal. I'm sure it's an easy fix. So I'll get that squared away eventually. But this is a 316 for now. I'm hoping to sell it, and like I said before, I'm going to try and get my dad a good machine like a GX 345 or something. He wants to get something brand new, but with the amount of money we're looking to spend, he can only get like a new X300 or X350, which have the weak transmissions and the weaker frames and everything. So I'm trying to get him to steer away from those, because if I have to use them for lawn care in the future, they'll wear out quickly. The transmissions don't hold up. So I think a GX 345 or something like that would be good for him. So I'm still looking, but for now, until I can get a bite, even though I'll be living 4 hours away, this 316 will be sitting here. So sad to say, but I had a good time working on it. I still needs a couple things. I'm gonna keep asking around, see if anyone wants it, and it should make a good machine for someone. I actually did have someone come check it out to buy it, but they backed out. So oh well, I'll get this thing sold eventually. If any of you guys in my area might be interested, let me know. So yeah, that's basically where that thing stands right now. Just a couple other little updates. I know the lighting here is terrible, but here's a set of ramps I bought. They're made by a company called U-Trax. They're American made. They're aluminum. That's the only thing I don't like about them, but they were very expensive. They were 200 something bucks. But like I said, I got them from Cabela's, and I've had a couple issues with flimsy ramps in the past, so I didn't want to take any risks. So I bought these heavy-duty aluminum welded ramps here for 225 bucks. I think the total bill came out to be, and they got delivered to my house. I got FedEx to the house, and I've been using the heck out of them lately. They've been great. They don't flex or anything, and they can hold. They're rated for 2,500 pounds, so I can't complain. I mean, they're very sturdy, especially since I've been hauling a lot of heavy equipment. And I actually had Jimmy's 322 in my shed for about 2 or 3 weeks, and that's a very heavy tractor. I kept it in my shed because I figured, coming from the county fair over there and going to the other county fair down that way, there's no point in him bringing it home, an hour away through all that traffic, and then having to bring it down again 2 weeks later. So I just kept it here for a while. I should have took a video when I had it here, but I didn't. So oh well. So yeah, that's basically it. I mean, I really should have taken a video when I had the 322 here, but oh well. And then the truck, I still have to make an in-depth video of this truck. I know I haven't done it yet. I just haven't had time. And I feel like, I have to get it ready for the video. I have to clean it up. And I did get it cleaned, but I actually took it to the car wash a few days ago. And then 2 hours later, I blew the power steering pump, and it pissed oil all over the fenders, and it splashed it all up the sides and everything. So I have to clean it again. So I was not happy about that. But I knew the power steering was going out because... for those of you guys that know Fords, the Saginaw power steering pumps are not very good, and I was actually kind of expecting it to go out at some point because the steering was getting sloppy and slow, and it was hard to steer and everything, and it would whine louder and louder. And then eventually I was backing it into my driveway, and I was trying to square up with the wall there, and boom. And you can kind of see the aftermath. So I'll have to put some stain remover there. That's no big deal. And then I spent last Sunday taking the old pump out. You can't see anything under here. It kind of sucks. I wish I had a light under there. You can't see anything, but I got the old pump off, took it to Napa, got a new remanufactured pump, and swapped the pulley over at the mechanic shop up the street, and got this mounted up. And while I was at it, I put some fresh Mercon ATF in it, in the power steering, because that's what they recommend you use. And I changed the oil as well, and took care of a couple other little things. So now, unfortunately, where I'm going to school, I can't technically have my truck there freshman year, just because there's so many kids there. But I'll see how I do for the first semester, and then I think after Christmas break, I'll probably head up and find like a Craigslist ad or a classified ad for a free park for cheap nearby parking. So because I have to get out on the weekends. I have a lot of friends that live up near school, and I want to go out to the races, go to the racetracks, go to farm shows, tractor pulls, whatnot, while I'm up there if I get bored. So we'll see. I guess maybe by spring or even in the winter, I'll make an in-depth video of this. We'll have to see. Another cool thing, I got dual catback exhaust put on it. It's a accelerator, single in, dual out, 14-inch oval muffler. Let's see if I can get it on video here. I should have done this earlier in the day when I had more light, but I don't know if you can see up there. It's a single in, dual out, 14-inch oval muffler. It's basically a knockoff of a MagnaFlow, which is what I wanted all along, because MagnaFlows are stainless and they sound pretty good. My uncle has one on his 2010 F-150, so Triton motors, especially the 5.4s like this truck, they sound really good with a dual catback exhaust. So, and the engine's also much less restricted too. So I took it to an exhaust shop. I did lots of research, but I just couldn't find the right muffler, and I didn't know what size pipe to get. So I took it to an exhaust shop, and they welded it up for me in about 4 hours. I would have rather had it clamped, but they welded it on, and there's a couple things I would change about it, but it sounds good. And when I was driving to Philadelphia every day, it didn't sound too bad. It sounds really strong if I really get on it, but I don't want too loud because I don't want to piss the neighbors off, and I don't want to wake my parents up either when I leave in the morning for work. So but it sounds good. So I'll make a exhaust clip video of this thing at some point, and I'll make an in-depth video of it as well. So this is kind of a sad update video, I know. It'll be a couple months before you guys hear from me again, but I thank you all for tuning in and watching all my videos, and for all the nice comments and subscriptions and all the support that I've had over the years. So thank you guys very much, and I'm glad you enjoy my videos. I'll try, like I said, I'll try and keep making videos if I can. Let's say if I go to a farm show or something while I'm out at school or something like that. So I'll try and keep you guys updated, but I won't be back until Thanksgiving. So hopefully by then I'll have the transmission fixed and get it back in the 210, and we'll run around a little bit. But for now, it's just going to sit. So it's all right. There's better things to come in the future. I'll make sure of that. So this is one last look for a while before I sign off. So thank you guys again. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. Take care, guys.